He managed to break free, throwing it aside. Although he had nearly died, the rope slightly slowed the speed of his boat. However, the massive presence of the cargo ship rocked the waters, and the violent impact caused his boat to partially capsize. Water rushed in through the cracks, causing more damage. John was exhausted and terrified, but at least the cargo ship passed without crushing him. His life was spared, but the only hope of rescue was now receding into the distance. Again trapped in the bathroom of the yacht, John tried to steer the boat with long poles while he quenched his thirst with a little water. Hours had passed since he was locked up. When he looked outside again, he noticed that the color of the ocean had changed. He knew that in open water, the water sometimes changed color in different regions, but this seemed ominous, as if he had floated into something strange. His patience finally snapped. He shouted and banged on the locked door, convinced that whoever was aboard was toying with him, torturing him on purpose. But no one responded. Hours passed, and he remained trapped, the boat taking on more and more water due to the damage. Soon the floor was completely submerged, the water rising past his legs. If it continued like this, the vessel would completely sink. And then it got worse. A massive storm approached. Darkness covered the horizon. The waves rose abnormally, and the entire ocean around him turned into a violent, living nightmare. The waves were so large they could have sunk even the biggest ships. Fortunately, John's boat was not directly in the center of the storm. However, the violent jolts made him realize how fragile his vessel was. The fissures widened, and the steering system he had improvised earlier was completely out of use. At this point, the storm was in control. The water kept rising until it almost reached his mouth, forcing him to fight for every breath. If he couldn't get out soon, he would surely drown. Then, suddenly, the bathroom door began to open, and with a desperate pull, John burst it open. Finally, he came out of the bathroom, only to find the entire cabin flooded. He had less than an hour before the boat sank completely. Breathless, he ran to the upper deck to take a deep breath. The storm had finally passed, but the endless ocean stretched out in all directions, leaving him completely lost. The panorama crushed his morale, but he refused to give up. Determined, he went downstairs to inspect the damage. To his horror, much of the exterior of the boat was cracked and broken. Repairing the fissures from inside was impossible. He would have to do it from outside in open water. The radio was dead, and it seemed he had drifted into a zone with no signal at all. Now he faced a choice: surrender to death or fight with everything he had left to fix the vessel. He thought of his future, the family he still wanted to build.